Thank you very much. Leo, that was an excellent presentation, as always. Yes, sir. I'd like to have Dr. Mauro, former Italian Minister of Defense, please. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Good evening to everyone, and thank you very much, Robert Pittenger, for your invitation. The goal of my brief speech is very simple, is to share with you informations, judgments, opinions about the new European Union rules against money laundering and terrorist financing. Why? Because I think that in a multilateral approach, it's a good idea to manage and to share the new strategy of the European Union. The fight against money laundering and terrorist financing is vital for financial stability and security in Europe. Legislative gaps in one member state have an impact on the European Union as a whole. That is why European Union rules must be implemented and supervised efficiently and consistently to combat crime and protect our financial system. Ensuring the efficiency and consistency of the European Union anti-money laundering framework is of the utmost importance. As part of the Commission's commitment to protect EU citizens and EU's financial system from money laundering and terrorist financing, on July 2021, the European Commission has presented an ambitious package of legislative proposals to strengthen the European Union's anti-money laundering and countering terrorism financing rules. The package that is now in the European Parliament to be amended also includes the proposal for the creation of a new European Union authority to fight money laundering. Today's measures greatly enhance the existing EU framework by taking into account new and emerging challenges linked to technological innovation. These include virtual currencies, more integrated financial flows in the single market, and the global nature of terrorist organizations. Why is this package necessary? Because money laundering and terrorism financing pose a serious threat to the integrity of the European Union economy and financial system, and also to the security of its citizens. Europol estimated that around 1% of the European Union's annual gross domestic product, GDP, is involved in suspect financial activity. Just think that in July 2019, following a number of prominent cases of money laundering in the European Union, the Commission adopted a communication on better implementation of the European Union's framework. It was analysed the effectiveness and efficiency of the current EU anti-money laundering and countering financing of terrorism regime, and concluded that reforms were necessary. So what is the basis of this package? Well, the Commission presented an action plan for a comprehensive Union policy on preventing money laundering and terrorist financing. The action plan set out the measures that the Commission will undertake to better enforce, supervise and coordinate the EU's rules in this area with 6 priorities. The first one, ensuring effective implementation of the existing EU anti-money laundering and countering financing of terrorism framework. 2, establishing a EU single rulebook. 3, bringing about EU-level AML-CFT supervision. 4, establishing a support and cooperation mechanism for FIUS. 5, enforcing EU-level criminal law provisions and information exchange. 6, strengthening the international dimension of the EU AML-CFT framework. Now, the current framework takes the form of a directive that requires transposition into national law. This often leads to delays in implementation and divergence in national rules, resulting in fragmented approaches across the European Union. In addition, the current regime is not detailed enough, which means that there is not enough convergence. Finally, there is no central coordination body at the European Union level, which hinders cooperation between national supervisors and financial intelligence units, which is essential for a fully effective regime. These gaps are remedied in the current proposal. So, when will the new authority start its work? The authority will be established in 2023 with the aim to start most of its activities in 2024, reach full staffing in 2026, and begin direct supervision of certain high-risk financial entities in 2026. Moreover, regarding its composition, the authority will have a chair and an executive director. The executive director will be in charge of the day-to-day management of the authority and will be administratively responsible for budget implementation, resources, staff, and procurement. The chair will represent the authority and will run the two collegial governing bodies. On the first hand, the General Board that will adopt all regulatory instruments. In its supervisory composition, it may also provide its opinion on any decision about directly supervised, obliged entities prepared by a joint supervisory team before the adoption of the final decision by the Executive Board. On the other hand, there is the Executive Board, who will take all decisions towards individual obliged entities or individual supervisory authorities where relevant. The Executive Board will also take decisions regarding the draft budget and other matters relating to the operations and the functioning of the authority. For this latter category of the decisions, the Commission will have a voting right on the Executive Board. On the other hand, what is the Commission proposing as regards third countries and trades from outside the European Union? Well, the Commission proposes a revised approach to third countries, which aims at ensuring that external threats to the Union's financial system are effectively mitigated by implementing an harmonized approach at European Union level and ensuring more granularity and proportionality in the definition of the consequences attached to the listing on a risk-sensitive basis. The rules at the European Union level will be more detailed and granular than at present, and will include a number of regulatory technical standards to be prepared by the future European Union AML authority. For example, on customer due diligence. Member States will still be able to respond to specific risks, for example, by requiring additional sectors at national level to apply AML-CFT rules if justified by specific risks in that member states. Dear friend, European Union is a political project. I don't know exactly what's the future of European Union because, you know, European Union is not a federal state, and the federal perspective of European Union is every day not so well considered also in our institution and in our political debate. But what I know exactly, I know that when member states and European institutions move together, the result is absolutely positive. And in this case of these new rules, I think that we are doing the right thing. We are doing the right way. And for this reason, let me also stress a quote of a Greek philosopher, Plato. Plato said, the only reason to combat a war is money. Is money. There is no other reasons. And an Italian hero, Judge Giovanni Falcone, killed by Sicilian mafia, said, "Follow the money." And follow the money, in my perspective, it means not simply find the guilties, but find the solutions, find the possibility to stop the conflict and to stop the war. And this is the reason, because I think to know better the new strategy of European unions about money laundering and countering financing terrorism is so important in my point of view. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, sir. That was excellent. Very good. Thank you.